Okay, I think we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hi everyone.
We're doing something different today, and we've changed our timing from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we're not sure who's going to join us, but hi if you're watching right now.
Yeah. Um, so I think it's very meaningful for Kay and I because today we kind of mark it as our season 2 kind of episode 1 thing. And for anyone that is watching or maybe hasn't joined us before, we actually have done 8 videos in the last month or so. We don't know how we did that. Um, yeah, we can't figure out how we did 8 videos when our Facebook page started on the 5th of
5th
May.
of May. Maybe
Yeah,
Facebook got it wrong.
right. Yeah, so it's been a month or so, and we've had 8 videos with just fully human conversations, and some of them with our close friends as well. That has brought us a lot of learning points or so, and great conversations along the way. So for Kate and I think we just wanted to do this as a new season because literally this marks a new season for the both of us in Fully Human, and I think when we first started out, we really didn't know what we were getting into. We just really wanted to have authentic, honest conversations online. And I think many people out there also really want to have these conversations. So for some of us, for some of you who have heard of us before, like we did say that we were trying to do a business, in the line of fashion. We wanted to do women's wear because that's what we're both passionate about, and then we also love branding and marketing, and that's what we used to do as well and still doing. So, when we came together, these were some of the ideas that we had for business. But more than that, when Kate and I come together, right, we always just have conversations about life. So out of everything, we came together and we realized that we wanted to start, just having these conversations first, and we just wanted to take this time to do a reflection of where we came from, and just 8 episodes ago, right, we knew nothing about live broadcasting. We had technical difficulties for 1 hour. And then we didn't even know that we wanted to go live. We just did it on a whim, right, on Zoom. And then 8 sessions later, right, we have this fancy streaming service thing that we've signed up for. By the way, it's called StreamYard. And, thanks to the people from Focus on the Family also, that's where I heard it from. Yeah. And then, I think that it's so easy to get used to things very quickly, and I think just 8 episodes ago, right, when I just said we didn't know what we were doing, just a month later, we feel like, we had a new, I would say, like momentum going, and then we realized that, wow, things have changed, and the primary, oops, like the baby's crying. Yeah, but I think why we wanted to do this is because, like, when we started out Fully Human Conversations, we just really wanted to honor the Lord, honor God, with what we are doing. And like when these things like become something that can go on autopilot, right? I think like we just really want to stop and reflect as well and ask ourselves, like, are we going in the right direction? Are we listening to what God is saying, right? And to be very honest, like for anyone that's watching, or setting up a new business, like I think it's so good to have momentum. But at the same time, like sometimes when things become like muscle memory, right? Then, where are like the fresh inspirations and also like so I think that today when we came on, we didn't have a plan at all about what we're gonna speak about. So I'm really just rambling on. And so I really asked the Lord, like for the past few episodes, we've been sharing based on topics like authenticity, about identity, about how do we know if we can be authentic inside and out, you know, at home and at work and things like that. And I think so often, like, we feel like the Lord has brought us on a journey where throughout the week we've had experiences that we could share for those topics. But this week we really had nothing. And I think for myself and also for Kate, you know, we were just nervous as to like what were we gonna share, you know. And maybe I can, you know, somehow feel also about, I can somehow relate to how some pastors may feel sometimes, you know, when they like want to prepare for a sermon, but then like they just don't have any real life experience to share anything, you know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but anyway, so I was just asking the Lord, you know, if there's anything that you want us to say today, you know, or there's something that you want to tell me about what we're supposed to say today, like, what is it, you know? And I didn't really have time to prepare for today, also because like my son actually went to be a bit late. And then the Lord just reminded me about Isaiah 41:1. It was like a verse that popped up in my head this morning after I woke up from a dream. And I didn't know what I was dreaming about, but I just remembered Isaiah 41 verse 1. And I just wanted to read it out to everyone who's watching. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. And I think that really spoke into our situation, because like for 8 episodes, you know, we've already like had an idea of what we wanted to do each week, but like today both of us just had no idea what we were going to share. And like I think like the Lord was really encouraging us, you know, through this verse that like, you know, do not fear, for I am with you, you know. And I think that's so relatable and apt for this season, right? Where I think even for Singapore, where we're at, the circuit breaker is officially kind of over, and there's phase 1 happening now. But you know, we still don't really know what will happen, because phase 1 is, there isn't like a cap on it, right? When phase 2 will happen. So I think there's just a sense of like, we're moving on, but like what now? You know, and that really is so parallel to like our experience now. And I think that even for why we feel that this is a new season, it's also because like for when we first started out, right, it was fully human conversations. And I also just wanted to share that even though, you know, we're thinking about women's wear and brand consulting and all, like Kate and I actually have a first client now together, and we've actually just completed one project with them, and it has so much to do with fully human conversations. And maybe like I'll just pass this on to Kate to share. So
I think I really wanted to just add on first and like share with everyone that, you know, every week when we come into this conversation, we had a structure in place. You know, we will have a chat on a Sunday, and then somehow we will end up really aligned with like our daily readings, whatever we went through the week, and we'll always come to a similar topic, right? And then we'll go into the conversation on a Monday, and we'll feel so prepared. And we've done that for the last 8 episodes in that sense. And then somehow after last week, we just sort of felt like we should be shifting the time slot of the conversations, and we're not sure why, you know, but when I really feel that when God speaks to you, you have to be open to it, to sort of like listen to him and like hear his, for me, his really tiny voice, you know. And then we changed it, and then this week we didn't have any topic that we were aligned on. We tried to have prep calls, but the prep calls were really more of like catching up on life, you know what I mean? Like we didn't really come up with a proper topic. And so today we decided that, okay, we're just gonna jump in, and we had our nerves because this felt very new, and we weren't sure if this video on this new season would speak to anyone, you know. So but I really think that the Lord is very interesting. If you guys realized, we finished 8 episodes, and we didn't mean to hit 8 episodes and be done with it. And today, for our first episode on season 2, is actually the 8th of June. And funnily enough, what Jill mentioned earlier, we closed our first client, which is a non-profit client. And the first project they wanted us to help with was to help with a live stream, you know, and nobody on the team had ever done a live stream before. And then Jill and I are here, and we're like, okay, we've been doing live streaming for a month for 8 episodes. we have StreamYard. We have this program that Jill subscribes to. We know how to do the backgrounds. Jill does all the technical stuff. We can actually structure it and set it up for them. And then we were just talking about it, and we felt so, how do I say? We felt so excited, but we also felt very secure in the sense that like it all just happened in God's timing. Do you know what I mean? Like we just one day decided, let's just go on live stream and try to figure this out for ourselves. In 8 weeks, we completely figured it out. We actually got into a groove. I would say we got actually very, very comfortable with what we were doing. And then we could use whatever we had learned for our first client. So that really blew my mind, and I'm getting goosebumps again. And we've come so far from talking about Fully Human as a business that in this 1 month as well, during the circuit breaker, 2 months, in this month as well, we also registered Fully Human as a LLP. And that was actually quite scary for me because this is not the first company I've owned, but I guess my previous company, it had been around for like 9 years, and I finally closed it down. But when I closed it down, there were also a lot of like loose ends that we had to tie up, and we had to spend a lot of money tying it up. And that really scared me. But I really felt like, God was saying we had to take this step of faith and just, be secure, take that step of faith, and then we'll just see what happens. And then, so we registered a company, got our first client, and we finished season 1. And still we haven't created a clothing line or, put anything else together, but we've just been taking it one day at a time. And I think this conversation is so important because we decided to just stick with it and still show up, even though we didn't know what to say. And for me, that's a very, very big change in my life, because if you're like me, you just want to plan your life out, you want to know what your next step is. You want to feel secure. But just sometimes, when you walk with God, He's not going to tell you the whole story, right? He needs to lead you. He needs to guide you. He's going to show you the path, but He's not going to show you the entire path. And so how do you deal with that? I really think that doing Fully Human conversations and doing Fully Human together, that's what I've learned so far. I've learned to take it as it comes and not be worried about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week and everything. So, wow, I think our journey has been really beautiful, and we really want to thank anyone who has been watching us and like been sticking through our conversations with us. Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's just so amazing because like from the very first thing, like Fully Human really started off because of the relationship that Kay and I had. And like from there, like it just I guess like when we put God in the center of our relationship, right? And like all our dreams together in it as well, right? Then the Lord will take that plan and He will orchestrate it the way that He wants it to happen, not the way we want it to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, anything could have happened first, right? Like whether it was a women's wear label, whether it was the brand consulting, but somehow, right, we just went ahead first with this live conversation thing. And as Kate has shared, right, this has been so important to how things panned out. If we did not have this experience first, doing conversations on live stream on Facebook, we wouldn't have the ability to be able to do that for the client that we had, and when we signed them on board also, it was supposed to be after this project that they had done. But then, we just felt also that, we just felt the peace of God, right? To just go ahead with this project for them as well, and in the end, like God really used us, in this situation. And it was really like, I think like what one of my mentors used to always tell me, right, is that like always like look out for the multi-fruit action. When you give your life of service, right, it's not when you give away, right, you don't have anything back, because like the economy of God's kingdom is that when you give, right, you also receive, and like it's that when we were willing to also just put ourselves on the line for that client and use whatever software that we had, that we bought personally and all that, like God really blessed us also, because they then entrusted this project to us and worked with us. And then from there also, like, we managed to sign them on as client and all of that. So it's like, if we did not take the first step to say, yes, God, let's do this live stream conversation, a month later, we wouldn't even know that we would have a client that needed this service, right? Of all things marketing, of all things branding. So like, it's just so amazing. Yeah. And this, I think we just wanted to give God glory for that. And that, like, I think part of the topics that we did touch on in season 1 as well were about purpose and, you know, what kind of work do we do? You know, how do we find our purpose? I think we covered that with Dominic as well. Yeah, and I think that this has really been an ongoing journey for us also, you know, as we journey through life with this business, with the conversations as well. Yeah.
Like, we're sharing this not to say that it's easy, or you know, to put it, or not to like say like, oh, you know, everything went fine and dandy. We had hard days, you know, we had hard times, but really, like, we just wanted to stay true and faithful to what the both of us were hearing and what we're supposed to be doing. I guess like circuit breaker, I don't think circuit breaker is over. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone is still at home. But Jill, I guess one of the questions I had was, you know, is there something that has really changed for you, or something that you've learned during this period? Because I think it's so important to reflect. I feel like the last 1 to 2 months flew by really, really quickly. Actually, the year flew by really quickly. We're in June right now, and I feel like the year just started. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I just wanted to spend this time to reflect together with you.
Yeah, I guess like it's been something that my family has been talking about as well, you know, and definitely when we look at it, wow, it's been half a year, right? Some people will immediately think of the thought, wow, half a year has been wasted, you know, on this COVID thing, you know, but like, if we just pause, right, and think about, wow, half a year, you know, has passed, and like, actually, what have we gained through this half a year lah? You know, I think when we slow down and think about that, then, you know, we are not subjected to this virus or this situation, you know. And of course, like, it has really taken a toll on like the people who have been suffering, and there's so many other issues that come about because of it, right? But like, I think let's not also downplay like all the good things that have come on it about it. Yeah, and I think for me personally, because I can only talk about my own life, right? I guess like for so many of us, like, it's easy to just like scroll through social media and comment on other things that are happening and not reflect on our own life. But like, I guess to reflect on my own life in this circuit breaker, like, lots have happened within family as well. And I think that one main thing for me is really to, like you said, I think like let go of things. And because like when you're trapped at home, you know, with your family in that sense, right? You know, so many things can go in a direction that you don't expect, right? And even as you are hearing me right now, earlier, you can hear like my baby crying, you know, but like, am I going to kind of like be anxious and like worry about him or anything? But, you know, he's actually fine, you know. So I think like for me, really, it's about managing my own expectations of how life is supposed to be. You know, we can always say like, oh, you know, like, I was supposed to like go on this holiday, but now I cannot, you know, that I'm stuck here. You know, I was supposed to be doing this, but now I cannot. But like, if we look on the flip side and say like, wow, you know, like, I'm still here, you know, like, I'm safe, you know, I have all this time, what can I do with my time? And I've actually heard some of my friends, you know, like, one of them is taking a degree course online, something that he's really wanted to do for a long time. You know, I've heard like, and like, you know, our friend Donna, you know, yeah, she's like, you know, just really, she's going to have a baby in South Africa, you know, and even then, you know, like, it's difficult because she's not here in Singapore, but yet, you know, she's trusting the Lord for provision, you know, in that country, and like, things are falling into place. So it's like, you know, though this is a difficult situation, right? But wow, when we have the Lord, right, wow, we can see these difficult situations become like testimonies of His goodness and His glory, right? I mean, like, what a wonderful story to tell, right? When we can turn something that was meant for evil around for good, right? Not but when God does it for us, right? So sometimes like we can actually see like this as a bad situation or an opportunity for good to
Yeah.
happen, which is also
Yeah.
what we've been seeing around, right?
Yeah.
So I think daily during this circuit breaker, that has been the challenge and also the learning point for me. Yeah, to manage my own expectations and to see the good that comes out of every day. And what I did was to do what I'm grateful for on my whiteboard wall. And so like when I do remember what I am grateful for, I will write it down. And that's how like I try to stay focused on what I'm grateful for, and also like thanking my husband for being there and things like that. Yeah.
Wow, so good. I am reflecting on the circuit breaker. I still remember at the start of circuit breaker, I was like, oh wow, I'm going to be stuck at home. I was a bit like of a negative Nancy, but honestly, I'm on the other side of the fence now. And I'm not sure I don't think a lot of people feel this way, but I'm very, very grateful for the circuit breaker because this entire year for me has been sort of like God asking me to press the reset button and really just start from nothing, about whether it's about like my career, my life, like even like my personality and how I've always seen myself. I really feel like during this period, he completely shifted my mindset, right? And I think I shared it on a previous conversation that I really couldn't get through the Bible previously, but during this circuit breaker, it's so crazy that I have grown habits that I've been trying to build for years. Okay, and it's really, really amazing. I actually think the mindset shift was that, every day I go into a new day and I'm like, okay, God, thank you for every single breath that I have. And today, I know you'll give me the strength that I need to get through today. And I started to look at my today as just today. Because previously, what I did was that instead of looking at my today, right, I'm just like, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do this week? What am I going to do for the whole month? Where am I going to be in 1 year? Where am I going to be in 5 years? What's my growth path? And then it was always my growth path instead of God's growth path for me. So I was always like, okay, I need to be here. I need to do this, and I think during this period, I stopped expecting anything because I decided I have no control over it. And I sort of just leaned in onto him like I've never leaned in before. And I really think that's where my strength comes.
Yeah.
Circuit breaker. I read daily devotions daily. I read my Bible daily. I have missed a couple of days only because I oversleep. And then I have to rush for work or like to head out. I started working out every day. I feel a bit weird if I don't work out anymore. And how this all started was that I just started walking after Chinese New Year. Like I will walk every day. And then that walk turned into a daily workout. I'm on week 4 of my daily workout with this trainer, this YouTube trainer. And on top of that workout, I also make sure I try to go for a walk every day. So I just make sure I'm active. And I think that's crazy because honestly, I've been struggling my whole life to try to like start a workout habit, start being more active and start reading the Bible. But then somehow during circuit breaker, everything just fell into place, and when I couldn't do it, I would just ask him for strength. Like there are some days, we have bad days, right? And when I couldn't make it through, the only person that I knew I had to turn to was God. And I hope that the people watching don't think that we're being too like preachy, but it's really my experience. Like, I think during this period, I really learned that every single thing that's on your mind, every trouble you have, every pain that you have, every struggle that you have, every uncertainty, every fear that you have, you need to turn to him because no other human being can give you the answer. Do you know what I mean? Like your friends can listen to you, they'll love you, but we're all humans. And like, even if someone came to me with a problem, I'm not sure if I can fully help them with it, fully deal with it. I'm still inadequate. So when I looked at it that way, I was just like, wow, okay. Like I just have to press in. So I guess that's what circuit breaker was for me. And I actually really enjoy being at home now. I feel like the atmosphere at home has shifted in that sense because every day I go in with gratefulness, and I think that's very important. It's really a mindset shift because if you wake up every day and you're angry and you're disappointed and you're upset with your situation, then you're just going to look at the negative aspects of it. And I think that was what I used to do, you know. So yeah, I'm just very, very grateful for this period that I have sort of realigned my thoughts and sort of shifted in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I guess like, yeah. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, even as you're sharing like this like phrase, you know, it kind of like sums up, you know, both your experience and mine, you know, even through this circuit breaker and even through this journey of having 8 videos, 8 episodes of fully human conversations. And I think like we've just learned that the expectations that we place on ourselves, right, should not be our man-made expectations, but literally like actually it's just about being with God, being in the moments and hearing him. If I can just sum it up, yeah, it doesn't rhyme or anything, but you know, I just think that like maybe in everything that we do, there's just so much expectations, even expectations of when circuit breaker is supposed to be over, you know, and then maybe sometimes we may be disappointed that it's dragging on and stuff like that. But maybe if we did not have these expectations in the first place, then we won't be so disappointed, right?
You know, but it's
Yeah,
human
and
nature, right? You know what
yeah,
I
it
mean?
is.
Like even before
Yeah,
this conversation, we actually expected something. Like we expected the norm. You know what I mean? And so we felt
yeah,
so uncomfortable because we were like, this is not normal. This is a different time. You know, we're not prepared. So yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
And I think
Exciting.
like just a thing that I'm even learning right now is just that even when I have these expectations, you know, that I try my best to, you know, like give that to God and say like, God, you know, here are my expectations and like, I'm just entrusting it to you, you know, and then like I think from there when we just release it to him, then, you know, however it turns out, right? Like it doesn't really matter because like our goal is to please our Father in heaven, you know. Yeah, and you know, I guess that's all I can say. Yeah, and we just have to like have it as an ongoing thing, you know. Yeah, because like you say, it's human nature.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
like, do you think things will change after phase one for you, or do you think it'll continue as it is?
I don't know actually. Yeah, I really don't know. So like I guess that's where like, you know, we are going to be surprised lah. You know, I think like what Audrey said, you know, in our last episode was that like, you know, if our life just goes according to plan,
So boring.
and yeah, it's actually so boring. And then like it goes according to plan, then we tick it off. Okay, you're here, this milestone. Okay, go. Okay, yeah, I expected this. Then what? Then the end is what? Just like die, you know? Yeah, and I mean like it would be a very there would be a lot of achievements in that life, but whether it's, you know, fulfilling and abundant, you know, and a story worth telling, like I don't know, I'm not sure about that, right? Yeah, but I guess so often like the story that's worth telling, right, is when it's the most unexpected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you
and
have to
I guess
suddenly do something
yeah,
surprising.
yeah, and if we're looking for an unexpected life in terms of like an abundant life and interesting life, then why are we like, you know, trying to set so many expectations for ourselves lah, right? It's so ironic. Yeah,
Yeah. I think I'm
but
very
that's
hopeful
yeah, but I mean
because
that's not to
like,
say also we don't care about everything, right? Yeah,
yeah, I think you have to balance it out. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I wanted to say that I'm very hopeful because I feel like the circuit breaker for me, I don't know whether you feel the same way. I don't know whether anybody else feels the same way. It's like a reset button because it's like you've been stuck at home and this is your normal, right?
yeah,
So then you actually don't have to go back to what you were doing before. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like you don't have to go back to your old habits or your old
Mm,
routine because this was a break. It was called a circuit breaker. And when the circuit breaker breaks, you know, you get a new opportunity to start. And I don't think it's just for the virus or, you know, society and our community at large. It's also for us. Because I think that's what I'm very hopeful about. Because like after this, when the government, you know, lifts the restrictions, when we can meet our friends again, what is going to be so important for me And what do I? Oh, Gideon says hi. Hi, Gideon. Sorry.
Hi, Gideon.
Um, so when they relieve the restrictions, what are the habits that I want to continue? What are the new habits I want to build? You know, what were the old habits that I just don't want to have anymore? Right? Because I have a very short-term memory. Honestly, I can't remember how my life was previously. So I'm just gonna be like, okay, what do I enjoy doing now? And what do I want to take? Like what have I created here that I want to take moving forward? And I think that's what we should do, right? We should always look forward and we should always find ways to like improve, be better, and find ways to build in what we want into our lives lah. So I mean, I'm gonna try to go on more hikes. I'm gonna continue cooking. I'm gonna continue my reading, my daily devotion. You know, I wanna strengthen relationships that I've continued to build during this period, right? So
Yeah.
I find that very encouraging that we were given the opportunity to sort of like stop and then look at everything, review it, decide what
Yeah.
is important to us, and then reset. Like
Yeah.
that's what I look.
Yeah. You know,
That's
and
how I
it's so
look.
funny when you're talking about that because like this whole pandemic, of the virus and everything, it's like there's just so much fear, that comes out of it, right? Because it's something that so many of us like had not known of, and this version of the coronavirus is so lethal, and it just breeds fear. But even as you're
Mm.
speaking about how you are using your circuit breaker, right? It just reminds me that like there's so many things that people are doing during this circuit breaker that is because they've just broken out of being fearful. Like some people, like okay, even I tried to cut my husband's hair, and yeah, I mean, even in small examples like this, right? We were just using a very cheapo razor that my dad got actually for my dog to shave his
Oh
fur.
no.
Yeah, so we just tried it on Jeremy's hair, and then it died a few times when we were cutting halfway. So it just looked really bad, and I had to use scissors to kind of like even it out, Yeah, and he was just okay with it until like when the band kind of lifted, he went to cut his hair, right? But I think like before that, if you ask me whether I want to cut his hair, I'll be like, no lah, it doesn't cost very much to have a simple haircut, just anywhere around the block. I just wouldn't want to waste time on it, but like during this season, like it gave me like some form of encouragement or like a push, right, to just try that, like what do you have to lose, right? And I think even in that small little example of like just allowing myself, right, to be responsible for his hair, I realized that it's just like because like I don't fear the outcome, like, and he's given me the permission to fail, and to do whatever I want,
It's so
right?
nice of
That
him.
yeah, that even in that whole experience we could laugh it out, versus using it as a performance thing where like I need to get it right, I need to cut his hair well, and maybe in the past I would have that kind of mentality, but to me it's like, yeah, for fun lah, and I think that mindset has affected so many people positively, where like you said, people just started to bake, cook. And I think one example that I was just so impressed by is actually the example of our wedding videographers, Lester and Charmaine. So they obviously couldn't follow up with a lot of their projects, right, for videography during this time for weddings and all. So they were just thinking of like what they can do, during this time to have income. And they actually came up with a curry bun recipe. I think it's called the 金枕头, right? Golden pillow. Yeah, and then like I think they got it up and running, within a really short time. I saw it on their Instagram, and then later they created a whole brand out of it, called Eat My CB. So you can actually check it out. Let me just write it down here. And if anybody's interested in golden pillows and curry buns, basically these are amazing. Yeah, so please go to Instagram, and this is their handle. Yeah, and I mean, like for me, I just felt so inspired by the both of them because, like, they could be like any one of the freelancers and people in the creative industry that maybe are worrying, being frustrated at the situation why they can't continue their work, right? But they were so creative and so innovative, right, that they came up with something in such a short time, and then now it actually is being quite a hit on Instagram, and people are ordering and they're working really hard around the clock to bake this and to deliver it themselves. So it's like, it's really what you make out of it, and it's either you go in with hope or with fear, right? And I think so many people have come out of this hopeful, like just like you. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there's anything we can share as to how to shift your mindset from fear to hope. Because I think over the last couple of weeks or so, when fear comes and hits me, I always share it with you, right? So I'm just trying to decide. I'm trying to think about what I can share from my experience. Like, guys, it's normal to be fearful. It's normal to have fear, and it's normal to feel emotions, but it's really how you deal with it, right? Like when the fear comes, like, are you going to let it overtake you, or are you going to do something about it? And I think for me, how I handle it is that I really just try to sit myself down and like take a deep breath, chill out, ask myself, where is this fear coming from? Right? I think it's so important to go to the source. Like, why did you suddenly feel this way? Did something trigger it? Was it something that you saw? Was it something that you listened to? Was it something that you're experiencing now that caused that? Because any little thing can trigger it. And I just want to say that Netflix actually triggers a lot of my fears. So I try to stop watching it. Like, it's really scary. Like, I just could be watching something halfway and then I'm just like, this question pops into my mind and I start to doubt myself. So I think, like, ask yourself where the fear comes from, right? And then the next thing I do is that I really, after I find out the source, I actually bring it to God and I ask him, God, can you help me? Can you remove this fear from me? Can you help me sort of find out why this fear, if it's recurring, like why it keeps coming back, and then I start to pray as well. And I think, like, if you don't know God, it's fine. You can also turn to your friends as well. I turn to Jill a lot. I'll just be like typing out on WhatsApp, sharing my fear, and then, like, I think Jill, like, I shared with you I was having trouble sleeping, and that was last week, and then Jill said a really quick prayer for me. Guys, I slept through the night. Like, I wasn't able to sleep from like Mondays to Fridays, and I had to play worship music to sleep, and I would wake up every like 2-3 hours. Either the worship music wakes me up, or I just wake up because it's hot. I don't know why. And then that night, Jill said a prayer for me while we lost Donna during our conversation online. And since that night, I have not played worship music to sleep.
Wow.
I'm just like fallen asleep and then I wake up the next day. So it's really how you deal with the fear. Like, are you gonna let it eat you up, or are you gonna do something about it? And I think, like, I'm just reminded how all my habits started, right? I didn't start these habits because I had a fear in me. I was like, are you gonna make it? Are you gonna continue with your habits? Like, if you're gonna fail at your habits, then you better just don't start. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to work out? It's very hard to work out. Like, do you really want to read your Bible? Like, are you just gonna read it today and then you're not gonna continue? Then what does that mean? So I set myself up for failure, and that fear really started eating at my head. But then what I decided was that, when you have a fear, go and face it head on. Because if you keep running away from it, you're never going to face it. It's always going to be there. So then I decided, I think Jill, you shared this also, right? When you're just going to face your fear head on, you're just going to decide, okay, you know what? Because I'm scared, I'll just make sure I do it so that I'm no longer scared of it. So actually, I have the same fear every day before I work out. I'm like, I don't want to work out lah. Like, it's going to be so hard. I'm going to fail. I'm not going to make it through. I'm going to be very tired. I'm going to throw up, And then I'm just like, okay, go and get your mat, go and set it up, just press the play button and do it. After that, right, I feel so much happier. I feel so much lighter. And then I'm like, what was the fear at the start of this? Like, where did it come from? And why do I have it every single day? Like, so I really think that if you have a fear, go and deal with it. Go and face it head on and just try your hardest. It's okay if you can't handle it the first time around. Just keep going and you build a habit to fight against it. Yeah.
And like even as you're saying it, right, I realize that sometimes fear, not sometimes, but most times, right, fear is so predictable. You know, the voice of fear is actually, you know, the vocabulary of fear is so limited, and it sounds the same like all the time, and yet many times, right, we just fall prey to it again and again. And like actually, if you know we know how fear sounds like, then really what to counter it with, right, is the voice of God and the voice of our friends who encourage us and things like that, right? So it's like really to face it head on, right? Like you said, you know, we need the strength to be able to do it, right? Just like how we're in battle, right? So it's really about building ourselves up, you know, and some of us who are Christians, you know, like you said, you know, we read the Bible and we fill ourselves up with the Word of God. And then like some of us, it's also about, I think the second thing is really like to choose like who you share your fears with, and how you are speaking to your friends about your life, you know, because like I think birds of a feather in a sense like flock together, right? And um, really when we know that when we are entrusting some of our deepest fears or emotions with some of our friends, right, most friends want the best for you, right? It's just that like, you know, when we know who to share them with, then we know that like when they really care for us in this direction, right, they're not going to add to the fear and say, yeah, hey, you shouldn't do it, like, yeah, I'm worried that you may, you know, like, you know, break this bone, don't work out, or all that kind of stuff. You're very tired already, just go and sleep lah, you know. But we, you know, when we know, you know, who to share these fears with, right, we are intentionally wanting to break out of it, right? So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it's so important to know like who we are sharing these fears with also. Yeah, I
It
don't know if
makes
that makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
I think my new habit, right, is that now I realize it's coming to me that every day there are fears that I face, but I've decided to make it a habit to go do what the fear is telling me not to do. You
Right,
know,
right.
so like sometimes I wake up and then the fear is, okay lah, don't get out of bed lah. You know, you like what are you gonna do, right? You just can just lay in bed, look at social media, and then I'm just like, don't listen to that voice in your head. Just do the exact opposite of
Yeah,
what it's telling you. And
yeah.
sometimes, like, you know, before I go for a walk, right, I look in the mirror and then I'm like, dude, you know, if you go for a walk, you look horrible. Like people are gonna look at you and like judge you. And then I'm like, everyone's living their own life. No one's gonna care about you. Just go out for a walk because you feel better. You
Yeah,
know?
and it's so amazing because like what you're doing is also using like past triumphs, like times that you've overcome, right, to battle that fear and to say, hey, you know, like fear, you are actually lying. You know, there were times that like I did it and this did not happen. So like fear, you keep quiet, like you shut up, you know. And I think like that's the way, you know, of actually overcoming fear. And so often like I think so many people want to do it but they just don't know how. And like these are just some simple steps in even in your life as an example. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. So I guess, you know, I think we have a couple of people watching us, but we really want to thank you for like chatting with us. If you've anything that you want to share, leave it in the comments and we'll respond to you. But yeah, wow, Jill, I felt like we touched on some really good points, although we didn't prepare for this.
Yeah, and I guess we also don't even know like what the future holds, what the next conversation will be like. And I think it's just such a reminder for both of us to, you know, keep it fresh also, and yeah, keep it exciting when we don't have it all figured out and we don't plan stuff all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm feeling a bit scared now, but then I'm just like, okay, we'll just go with it.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope that like whoever's watching, like thank you for just tuning in and just hearing a bit about both Kate and my life, and really just want to give thanks to the God that inspired us to do this as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So good. Should we close with a prayer?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Father God, we just want to give you thanks, Lord God, for your provision, for your beautiful timing, Lord God, for your word, for your mercy, and for your grace, Lord God. Father God, we just want to thank you for the time that we've had together, Lord God. I just pray your blessings over everyone that is watching this video, Lord God. I pray for your peace, shalom, to be upon them, Lord God. I pray that you will knock on the doors of their heart if they don't know you, Lord God, and that they will open their hearts to you, Lord God.
Yeah.
Father God, I want to pray for Jillian. I want to pray that your peace will continue to flow through her household, Lord God, that in the days to come, you'll continue to give her strength for each and every day, Lord God. I pray that you'll bless John Samuel with sweet dreams as well, Lord God. I don't know why, but I felt like I had to say that.
Amen.
And yeah, I just want to thank you for my sister Jillian, Lord God. I want to thank you for entrusting us with your word, Lord God, and for allowing us to be on this journey together, Lord God, for allowing us to explore our relationship with you and with each other, Lord God, and for, just having a platform to share our thoughts as well, Lord God.
Yeah.
Father God, you've been so good to us, and we really just want to give you the glory. We really know that, none of this would be possible without you, and just please continue to speak to us, continue to tend to us, continue to groom us, continue to just be with us. We're just so grateful for everything that you've done for us. So thank you, Father God. I just want to pray that, the week ahead, there'll be filled with surprises, filled with your strength. Give us new manna every single day. Every single day. We want to thank you for every single breath that we take as well. And all this in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yeah, and I just also just want to say that we don't always know all the answers, and we don't always know what to say, but I think even as you were praying, right, I just felt that this maybe for someone who is watching, and maybe for you, right, you are presented with two very similar choices at this crossroad in life. I don't know, it may be two types of jobs that look really similar, and you don't really know which one to choose. And I don't know why, I feel like I need to say this, that the Lord is with you, and do not fear. And if you invite him into your life and into these decisions, right, even though the two choices right before you now, it looks very similar, it looks like the picture that I got, right, it looks like two square, I don't know why, but two square handkerchiefs, and then there's grid lines on it. And I don't know what it means, but these two choices in your life look so similar and you don't know how to choose them. But I think if you just open up and ask the Lord, God, can you show me which one I should take? He will show you which one you should go for. And I just had that. So I just felt I needed to share that.
Wow, so good. Okay. I really hope that speaks to someone. If that's you, you can feel free to private message us, Happy to pray for you, help you out with whatever you need.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah. And see you next week.
At 9 p.m.
Okay, bye. Bye, Kate. See you.
Bye. See you.